Actor Amber Heard took the stand for 2 days this week in Johnny Depp's defamation case against her. Depp is suing his ex-wife for $50 million over an op-ed she wrote for the Washington Post back in 2018 about being a survivor of domestic violence. But aside from what happened in court this week, one of the biggest bombshells of the case actually came out last week when the ACLU, which says it fights for the civil rights of all Americans, acknowledged that it also moonlights as ghostwriter for celebrities like Heard if the price is right. It is absurd, and we will get to that in a moment. Now, during emotional testimony, Heard described the abuse she says she suffered at the hands of Depp, including this instance where she claims he pushed her so hard that she flew across the room.
When he shoved me, I went flying across these parakeet floors. I mean, just skidding across these floors. And I remember thinking it just looked so easy for him to throw me around like that, you know. I just slid, screeching my skin against this, like, beautiful wooden floor.
And this horrific description of the time she claims Depp penetrated her with a bottle.
I don't remember what I said. I just remember being really still, not wanting to move. I remember looking around the room. I remember looking at all the broken bottles, broken glass. And I remember that it's just not wanting to move because I didn't know if it was broken. I didn't know if the bottle that he had inside me was broken. I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel it. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything. And I just remember thinking, please, God, please. I hope it's not broken.
Heard also broke down describing that fight, same one, in Australia.
I remember I was bent over backwards on the bar, meaning my chest was up. I was staring at the blue lights and my chest was on this, my back was on the countertops. And I thought he was punching me. I thought he was I'm sorry. I felt this pressure. He held my pubic bone and he thought he was punching me.
Heard's testimony is obviously very powerful. I don't see how Depp can actually win this case because the jurors really just have to believe that one instance of abuse, and it could even be emotional abuse, occurred. If that happens, then Depp loses. But I want to pivot here to something that came out in court last week ahead of Heard taking the stand, something that has gotten very little attention. The American Civil Liberties Union now admitting that their communications team penned the first draft of Heard's editorial that's now at the center of the defamation civil suit against her. The general counsel of the ACLU had to explain under oath that one of its employees oversaw the whole thing.
She was involved in all aspects of the conception, preparation, drafting, and publication, and that the other members of the communications department who worked on this, they reported to her in terms of this specific task.
In a recorded deposition played at the trial last week, the ACLU's lawyer admitted the organization wrote the piece, cleared it with Heard's lawyers, and the most embarrassing part, they then timed its release to the opening of Heard's movie, Aquaman.
I do recall that there was a conversation about the optimal timing for the op-ed piece.
And as part of that conversation, Ms. Heard said in words or substance that she wanted the op-ed to come out soon after Aquaman, correct?
I believe that's correct.
Now, we don't know whether there was a quid pro quo per se, but Hurd pledged $3.5 million in donations from her divorce with Depp to the ACLU. Now, the organization says they've only received about a third of that amount, but what the heck is the ACLU doing ghostwriting editorials for actresses? Not just writing it, but shopping it around to all the major publications and even coming up with a PR strategy on how to maximize on Hurd's celebrity. Is this what they mean when they claim to protect people's rights and defend democracy? According to an article posted on the website Jezebel last week, email correspondence shows that Robin Schulman, a communication strategist with the ACLU, wrote the first draft of the op-ed in November 2018, a month before the article was published, while Hurd's legal team made edits to avoid obvious incrimination of Depp. Another ACLU communications associate, Jerry Johnson, wrote, "Since the draft turned out pretty strong and Aquaman slated to do large numbers, I'm wondering what you think about it." Earlier this week, I spoke to the writer of that Jezebel article, who had been a supporter of the ACLU.
It was very disappointing and in short, not a good look on their part to have co-conspired with a celebrity who arguably has the resources to do her own PR, to write her own op-ed, and to pitch that op-ed ahead of her film release with her own team.
In the lead up to taking the stand, Hurd fired her entire PR team last week because she hasn't liked the coverage she's been getting during the trial. I think maybe the ACLU could just do it for her. After all, they were already doing it. Joining me now is Dan McLaughlin, senior writer at National Review Online and a fellow at the National Review Institute. He wrote a piece called Amber Heard's ACLU Ghostwriters. Dan, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it. So what is the ACLU doing writing and shopping around editorials for celebrities?
Well, the ACLU got two things out of this, whether or not you believe that in which of those you think they intended to be their real benefit. One, of course, is that they did get about $1.5 million from Amber Heard. And the other is that, for a cause, domestic violence, that they wanted to promote attention to, they felt that they were getting more publicity by attaching a celebrity to this and timing it with the release of her movie. The more cynical view is that essentially they were, doing kind of a quid pro quo to raise money and help her raise her celebrity profile.
Yeah, and again, you can make the argument, as you suggested, that they were doing this to get more attention to the cause, but they don't need to be doing this with her, meaning she can get a lot of people to do that with her if for her own personal cause. The ACLU didn't disclose that they had written the first draft of it, which I think is also problematic. And I guess I'm surprised that this hasn't led to more criticism of the ACLU. No?
Yeah, and I think it should make us more skeptical generally of these kind of celebrity political activism, roles that really often are just roles. It's just somebody trying to essentially hook on to whatever the popular cause is and use it to promote themselves. Now, obviously, how cynical you are about that depends on how much you believe Hurd's account, which is obviously the issue in the trial. But even assuming that she is a genuine survivor of domestic violence, I think clearly she was, looking to kind of cash in a bit on timing this with the release of her movie.
Right. But I guess for the purposes of this discussion, I'm less focused on Amber Heard and more on what the heck the ACLU is doing. You had cited the Jezebel article in the piece you wrote highlighting the ACLU's role there. And to me, the fact that the National Review, a right-leaning conservative news organization, actually agrees with something that the left-leaning site Jezebel published is proof to me that somehow this is pretty egregious.
Yeah, we don't agree with Jezebel very often on very many things, but yeah, I think I was pretty appalled by this, and maybe I'm more cynical because I think that this sort of thing happens more than you think, but that doesn't make it any less bad.
Well, I guess for me, it's the fact that they've been forced to admit it, right, and come out, and as a result, I guess maybe it is true. Maybe you are more cynical. Maybe I'm more naive, and I think, oh, does this stuff really happen this much? So maybe that's true. Fair enough. Dan McLaughlin, thank you for coming on the show. Good conversation. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.